Are you wondering about northern New Jersey home sales in 2023? Maybe you're looking to find out which are the hottest towns in northern New Jersey, and specifically which towns are going over asking in the area. Well, in this video, we're going to dive into just that. So let's get into it right now. Hey, I'm Jeff Massey, your local realtor, and I get calls every day from people just like you who are thinking about moving to one of New York City's amazing suburbs. The team and I, we love it. So whether you're moving in 7 days or 7 months, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, or even schedule a personal one-on-one video chat so we can help you make an easy, stress-free purchase in the New York City area. Whether you're moving from Manhattan or from anywhere else in the country, we'd love to help. So as you might know, in my previous video, we were talking about why you need to move. Is it a need or a want? And you're gonna wanna watch that video. I'll link it down below. It kind of goes hand in hand with this video, because in this video, we're gonna talk about homes that are going over asking and kind of looking a little bit at a few specific towns, but overall, we're gonna be looking at Essex County, Morris County, and Union County specifically, and giving you a little bit of flavor of what's going on in those towns. Because the market right now is in a weird spot. We have very low inventory, as I discussed in the previous video. Demand has been tampered down a touch by the high interest rates, but there's still a lot of high earners out there that can afford to get in. And like I said in the other video, it really comes down to whether or not you need to move or you want to move. So if you need to do something for whatever reason it is, you're gonna have that North Star, you're gonna get on that path and figure out how to do it. So in this video, I'm just gonna talk a little bit, give you a little bit of the nuances going on with some of these home sales prices that we're seeing. Now, this isn't meant to discourage you in any way. I'm just bringing this up so that we can properly strategize about your budget. And again, it's all about the monthly cost. So let's jump into my screen. I've got an Excel file saved here that's gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in these counties. And then we can go a little bit in depth and take a look at a couple anecdotal towns. All right, so I've got the last 6 months of sales data loaded in here, and I've highlighted sold price to original list price. So that gives us an idea of how much over asking or close to asking people came in. Kind of gives us a proxy for demand in the market and competition, so to speak. So if you look here, we've got sold price to original list price. This gives us kind of an idea of how competitive these markets are. And I've got towns here on the left and that sold price to original list price on the right. Now, if I highlight here and I go to 101, so prices that were above 100% of the asking price, I've got 25 towns where that was happening. And then if we look below, you can still see there is still a handful of towns. I mean, it's still, these are all going into the hundreds. We've got another 20 towns that were still in the hundreds. And this is in these 3 counties like I was mentioning, Essex, Union, and Morris. And in the top, it wouldn't be a surprise, but we've talked about Montclair on the channel before. The top spot, Montclair, 116%. Again, these are averages. So if, as you know, when we looked at Montclair specifically in other videos, I'll link those below as well. If you look at anecdotal properties, one home went for 55% over asking in that particular example on Christopher Street. So it just goes to show you that town, and I think Glenridge, if we look here, 110% average. Those 2 towns you tend to see a lot where they price it very aggressively, knowing that they're trying to drive traffic and get people to go above asking. And in any circumstance, we're gonna need to look at specific properties and look at comps in that area that are specific to that particular property, bedroom size, you know, potentially square footage, finished basement, yard size, these kinds of things. We wanna look at the details, but this is just looking at gross numbers so we can get an idea of like how demanding these towns are, how competitive these towns are. So then we got Maplewood. I've got these highlighted because we're gonna go into some detail in a minute. Maplewood, 106, West Caldwell, 105, South Orange, 104. If you start to look at these, you've got excellent commutes from these locations. Maplewood and South Orange, you've got like commutes within a half an hour to Penn Station. Same with Montclair. If you're at that, you know, those closer stations like Bay Street, you're gonna get into the city in like 30 minutes. So really good commute times there, and that makes these markets very competitive. So if I move on to the next slide, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and just show you some specifics so we can start to see like where is the sort of granularity. If you look at Montclair in particular, 118% over asking on the larger homes. These are 5 bedrooms plus. but you can still see in the 2 and 3 bedroom homes, 110% over asking, and in the 4 bedroom homes, 117% over asking. Again, these are averages. Now, you'll also note that when I spoke about the Montclair video previously, that the super high-end homes, like the 3 million plus, we're seeing a little bit of marginal percentage below asking on those because they are so expensive. There might not be as many readily available buyers for those homes. So you can get a bit of a discount on those. But in general, if you're pricing it well on a more modest size home, I know 1.5 million, I know that seems crazy for a modest size home. But the reality is, in these locations, being close to the city with great amenities in these towns, 1.5 is kind of the average. So especially if you're looking for those 5-bedroom plus homes, you're looking at a lot more over asking. Now, Montclair and Glenridge, we know that there's definitely like a pricing strategy that happens in those towns. So let's look at Maplewood in particular. That's on the Morris and Essex line, or the Morristown line. And in particular, looking at 106% above average. But when we look at the granularity, let's break it down by size here. We've got this chart at 1 to 5 bedrooms. You can see the super popular and green is the 3 bedrooms and the 5 bedrooms plus. So here we're seeing two segments where you've got kind of your average size home, 3 bedroom. A lot of people are looking for that 1 bedroom for themselves, maybe 1 bedroom for their kids, depending on how many kids, maybe a 3rd bedroom for another kid or a home office. All depends on obviously people's specific, but in the bigger homes, we're also seeing that extra stretch again. We're getting up to that mid 1 millions, 1.3 in this case, of the larger homes, 107% over asking. So these are very popular areas because of the commutes, and very competitive because, again, there might be some pricing strategy going on here, but we're looking at days on the market averaging 30. I think Montclair was averaging 27 overall, but again, those larger homes, 22. Similar in the popular 107, 108%. In Maplewood, we're seeing 24 days on market, 23 days on market. So very quick movers here. I mean, that's 3 weeks. If you think about by the time you get offers on the table and then get that into the return review and finalize things, that's pretty fast. I mean, it can go faster, but that is still pretty fast on average. So we're looking at, again, 30 days average. But let's drop into the finite details. So this was the last 6 months, both of these two charts. So let's go one more level down. Let's look just at Maplewood in particular, because that one's a little bit more, it's still very, detailed, very high, still 106%, I mean. But let's look at specifics. So this is in the last 30 days. So you can see here, again, those larger places, 6 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms, we're looking at 119% over asking, 121% over asking if you average these things out. And then in those more affordable homes in that sort of below $1 million tier, you're seeing, again, still like 115%. So this, if you average this out, 112%. So this is in the last 30 days. The other chart was in the last 6 months. So it's starting to warm up. You can see these rates, people are starting to realize, okay, like this is the situation. Like over time, hopefully they do come down. But I think the situation here is people are starting to realize they need to get back in. A little bit more inventory is coming on just due to seasonality with the spring load. But people are now realizing, okay, I've got the income here. Maybe I couldn't get that dream house, but I'm going to pare it back a little bit. Like I said in the other video, you have to sort of look at the monthly cost and see how that can impact your purchase. So they're realizing, okay, I'm going to get back in this. I need this. These are people that need to buy most clearly because they're going above asking, and you can see it's trending, definitely into a very hot market here in Maplewood in particular. I think in another video, I'd like to go out and check out some of these specific listings. We could do a walk by, show you the neighborhood. So look out for that content in the next coming days. Hopefully that we can get that done and get out there and check out some of these homes. But look at this one. I mean, 139% over asking on 12 Sunset Terrace, 121 over asking on 6 Kendall Avenue. So again, that's Maplewood specifically. And let's just go back to the chart because we didn't really go further down. We should have done this earlier, but so we're looking at South Orange, Wharton Borough, 104. Bloomfield also has that proximity to Maplewood. You've got proximity to Montclair, I meant to say. 103%. West Orange, 103%. Chatham, just north of me, is 103%. Summit City, where I am, 102%. So obviously there's different pricing strategies going on, and this is just averages. So there's anecdotal things going on as well. But in general, it just shows you that people are putting up prices. If it's priced well, they can get at or above asking. And what it means is, going back to that other video, and again, I'll link it below, you need to focus on your why and figuring out if you need to buy, and that's your why. Your why is, I need more space, I need to get out of the city, whatever it is. I'm not going to go into specifics because everyone's going to have their own why in their head. You need to figure that out. And if it is that you need to buy, then you need to strategize and really look at that monthly budget, get the pre-approval, but also look at what your goals are in terms of monthly savings and monthly spend on housing costs, and then figure out where your top monthly spend can be, and then kind of back into that number with the calculations of what your property taxes, what your principal and interest, what your homeowners maintenance, if that applies, or what are your just overall budget for maintenance. If you are buying a house, you do need to, come up with a budget for, yard work and these kind of things. If there's also other things where you think there's going to be maintenance because it's an older house, keep that in mind. So that's your monthly budget that you need to work towards. Knowing this is happening, knowing that you need to get something done and you want to get into the market now before things go even crazier. Because again, like I said before, once pricing on interest rates does come down, inventory is not going to skyrocket. It could go up a little bit because those sellers that have been a little bit on the sidelines worried about where they're going to go if they sell, and how much can they afford. They might get back in if interest rates cool down a little bit. But in general, as I keep saying, we've got systematic low inventory due to lack of building over the past, few decades. And that's kind of catching up with us, as well as being in that very dense area in the Northeast near New York City. We don't have a lot of land to begin with. So those more urban locations that can go vertical, they're going to see a lot more inventory come up. But in the suburbs, where we tend to keep things like 2.5 stories, those areas are going to be impacted by these low inventory numbers. And these numbers are going to continue on trend. So we're obviously not talking about sales value here, but we are talking about competitiveness and demand. So there's definitely demand. I would encourage you, if you're on the fence, but you do understand your why, you might want to reach out to us and get to know what we can do for you and how we can start to strategize. Again, it all comes down to monthly budget cost and how that plays into the overall bid price. You don't want to think about the bid price, because long-term, those couple percent, it's probably going to go away. Over time, you're going to make that back in appreciation. So I hope that helps. I hope looking at these two towns in particular, Montclair and Maplewood, when we get into the, the specific anecdotal comps, I'm going to definitely jump out on the road and check out some of those, maybe walk by, see what's going on in those particular locations. But I think this can really help you understand what's going on in the market. And like I said, get in touch with us. We'd love to help. Our info is down in the description, and I'll put a WhatsApp QR code. If you want to scan that, you can text me directly. We can get a conversation going. Once again, thank you for letting me into your home, and I hope that together we can find your next one. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.